out there in YouTube land. Hey, how's it going? I put up the chat earlier tonight, and it looks like people have been chatting, so that's always cool. Hey, Jason P. Happy Saturday. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Yeah, I wish our Saturdays were as long as our Mondays, too. Hey, good to see you, Warren. Just finished a 3-day virtual conference. Oh, cool. Nifty. Hey, it's Janet G. Good to see you too, Janet G. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here. Ooh, it's 47 and raining. Ooh, 47 is my favorite number, but I don't love it as a temperature. In Alberta, Canada. Jeez. Yeah, it was in the 90s today here. So we've got the AC on, of course. It's still, what is it? It's 11 p.m. here, and it is still 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah. But I'm sure it's hotter in Arizona, or at least I imagine it is. Yeah, Warren, I've started to like the in-person conferences better too, but they are expensive. But I just got done doing absolutely everything for work online, and I'm over it. Like I'm ready to go out in the world and like share air with people. So that's why I'm liking the in-person stuff better right now. Unless it's like I have to drive really far and it's just for 1 hour or something, then I kind of prefer online. But yeah, those ones at the city convention centers can be pretty expensive. It's hot in Arizona right now, Jason. How hot is it there right now? I know it's earlier there. Y'all are what, 3 hours behind me? Because y'all didn't do daylight savings time. So what, it's like only 8 p.m. there? Maybe? I have to look at it. I have to look. Ooh, medical conferences get the fancy hotels. Ooh, that sounds like a fun medical conference to tag along to. Ooh, nice. That's pretty nifty. Warren says, I assume we had to adjust our acronyms to avoid matching yours. The radiology acronyms or the medical acronyms. We have MAA and AMS because you took, Mathematics Association of America, I'm guessing. An American Mathematics Society because they took American Medical Association. Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm just guessing on the MAA and AMS ones. Just guessing. Hey, Mon, good to see you. Well, if you are driving, please don't focus on the chat. Make sure you are driving safely. But it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here, sis. I know Mary is driving back from, what'd she say? Cincinnati. So she may not be on with us tonight. Oh, the Canadian Medical Association. So it's the CMA, which is funny to me because in the United States, I think of CMA and I think of the Country Music Awards, which is totally different. Totally different. The two national math orgs are the Mathematical Association of America, teaching focused, and the American Mathematical Society, research focused. Oh, that's cool. I was reminded of something earlier tonight, Warren. I actually have a relative who's a math teacher. But she teaches middle school math in, Georgia. I see her maybe, like, once a year, and usually we're catching up on life, not chatting mathematics. Middle school math's a little different, I guess. Ooh, Janet G says, "In Canada, our main body is the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. Each province has its own body. Alberta is College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta, so it's different." Oh, okay, cool. So our provinces, I assume provinces are like the Canadian counterpart to like states in the United States. I'm guessing, perhaps, maybe. Hey, Crafty Witch, good to see you. How are those peppers growing? They doing okay? Those are beautiful pictures. AMA in Alberta is the Alberta Motor Association. That's totally different. So many acronyms, you guys. And there's a lot of there's a lot of acronyms in the therapy world too, like in mental health, behavioral health. And then if you work for an insurance company, a managed care organization, there's even more acronyms. It's redonkulous. Oh, hey, Mary's back. Hey, Blessed to Crochet Mary says, hello, everyone. Home safe and sound. I'm so glad you guys got home safely. I caught you on the road earlier when you went live. You're not putting together that chair tonight, are you? I hope you guys aren't worrying about that. Apparently, there's also an American Motorcyclist Association. Huh. I wonder if they have conferences too. I guess every group has some kind of get together, whether they call it a conference or not. That's what makes it a group, right? They get together some way and they group up. So, hey, Susan P., good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. I have been kind of intermittent, like not predictable with when I've been going live because I've been adjusting to the new schedule and the new work and my new energy levels and stuff. So, oh, exhausted, says Mary from Blessed to Crochet. We all had a long drive today. So, if you fall asleep to us, we won't be offended, Mary. We won't be offended. Hey, Meredith Lynn, good to see you. Good evening. Oh, Celsius? What? What? Celsius has always confounded me. I know there's a formula to figure it out, but I've always looked for like one of those converters online. Hey, Sweet Liberty, good to see you. I've got all the people in here tonight. This is awesome. Let's see. Oh, Warren asks, do you, Krista Melinda, plan to go to a lot of therapy and psychology conferences? I hope to go to more now because now I'm in practice again, first of all. So I don't know. I find that like in-person learning, I don't know, it sticks in my head better for applying it actually in practice. Um, Whereas, when you work for insurance company, all of your knowledge it's all analytical and it's all like theoretical, it's like reviewing other people's documentation and stuff. So I hope to. And I also work for a place now that will reimburse more for CEUs and stuff like that too. So I hope to. I hope to. I would love an excuse to travel somewhere and just like, you know, actually like sleep the whole night through instead of be up in town doing chores and kid stuff. I love my little guy, but sometimes he wakes up a lot, you know? And sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to get a change of scenery, right? That way you can appreciate what you have better. Yeah? You miss it for a little bit? That's what I think anyway. Oh, it's 10 there in Arizona? Okay. It's only an hour behind me. Okay. All right then. Oh, you're in Colorado. I don't know. I guess I thought you were in Arizona because you were mentioning Arizona heat earlier, Jason P. I have a friend in Arizona, no break from the heat. Actually, one of the therapists that works for the practice I'm in is in Colorado. He does only virtual, obviously, but he's licensed in Texas. That's funny. We actually had a training, like an in-service today, um, which was really, really cool. It was the first one of like an in-person training I got to do. I know like most people that work jobs are like, "Oh, that sounds awful. You had to go to a training on a Saturday." But I thought it was great because it wasn't I don't know, it was about more important stuff than my meetings have been about lately. Like when you work corporate, so many of your meetings are just kind of, I don't know, to make everyone feel important and feel like they have a say when they really don't. Uh, Maybe I'm just being cynical, but that was my perception. I enjoy my meetings more now because I feel like they have applicable purpose. That's just me. Maybe I know more math than I'm letting on, Warren. I know a little bit. I mean, I remember the slope of a line is y equals mx plus b, and that's about as advanced as I get. It's about y equals mx plus b. I don't know why that's stuck in my head. That I've forgotten so much math, but that's stuck. I was just looking this up earlier. Decatur, Georgia, which is like nearish Atlanta, I think. I've never been there. Usually she comes down to visit here in Texas. Oh, Mr. Blessed to Crochet is already asleep. Well, let's let him sleep then. Let's let him sleep because he was driving, right? He was driving. Oh, good. I'm glad the pepper plants are doing great. I'm glad. Hey, it's Mr. Midge. I haven't seen you in my chatting forever. I miss you. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. That's always fun, like when somebody pops up that you haven't seen in a while. I know probably people sleep at the nighttime when I do this, and that's why. But it's so fun to see y'all. It's so cool. Hey, Wally, good to see you too. Jason P beat you to it this time. Oh, what did you beat him to? I missed something. But hi, Wally, good to see you. Oh, to put the chair together, Bless to Crochet says, I told my husband that we would, and I offered. He said no, and he's already asleep. So tomorrow's another day. Yeah, it's too late to be building furniture. I'm thinking, it's too late to be building furniture for sure. Oh, well then. The Oilers won big tonight. Canada still has a shot. Great, great, great. I think that the reason I remembered Edmonton was because, like, a decade ago, I read a book about hockey called, I wanna say it's called The Game, but I have to look to be sure. I'll have to look at my Kindle app to be sure, because it's been a long time since I've read it, and my memory's not always that great. Unless something, like, really, really stuck with me in, like, a poignant kind of way, in, like, a life-changing kind of way, like, I'll forget, like, details of things sometimes. So, but I read a book about hockey because I was just starting to date my husband and he really liked hockey. And I thought, well, I wonder why he likes this. I guess I'll read this book about hockey and see what the heck this is all about. And I can see why. I can see why. I enjoy the story behind sports, if that makes any sense. Like history of teams, like legacies, things like that. That all makes it much more exciting for me than just watching like a game with a score. That's fun enough, but like it's way more fun if there's more, I don't know, if I get more background, more interest in it. I think I'm super behind in the chat, aren't I? Yep, I am. Miss Dragon. Hey, Miss Dragon says, much love, everyone. 3 years bath time with one cut up melatonin gummy as a treat. That's what we do sometimes, Miss Dragon. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. I've been thinking of you, Miss Dragon. Much love to you, Miss Dragon, and many prayers. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Becca Jean. Becca Jean says, "Ha, I got one." Well, ha, you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Good to see you. I talked to you like between things, but I'm not sure if I've caught you on one of my streams in a while. I've been streaming like intermittently, like not as predictably this past week. Oh man. Jana G says, so Edmonton will be going nuts tonight. My daughter's boyfriend works at the Ice Dome. Oh, well, traffic's probably going to be rough for him going home, I'm guessing. At least that's what it's like around here in Dallas when one of the home teams wins something. Traffic is awful afterwards. Exactly, Meredith Lynn. Exactly. So many meetings could actually be emails. But then the problem with that is if you have a gazillion emails, then you don't read them because you can't keep up with all the emails. But I don't know. Like I was involved in I was required to be a lot of meetings this past year that it felt like, oh, we're having you here to this meeting because we want your input. They don't really want your input. So it just kind of felt like, why does it have to be a meeting where we pretend to discuss it and we pretend you care about our input when really it could just be you giving us a directive and we could just do the thing and move on? Like, it bummed me out. It bummed me out. But I think that's just the game at a lot of companies. And I don't know, a lot of people can do it. A lot of people can handle it. And I lost the will. I lost the drive to handle it, I guess. I feel like it wasn't always so bad. I feel like when I first started, I think it was because I started getting involved in management meetings and stuff. That was what happened. That was what sealed the deal, got me to go sour on it. Oh, hi, Misha. It's good to see you. Misha says, I'm not even way late, y'all. How is everyone this evening? It's good to see you, Misha. Always better now that you're here. What? Warren, you used to live in Decatur? No way. So my dad's cousin teaches middle school math at a Catholic school there. And I believe she has taught at the same school for like many, many years now. As I said, I've never been to visit her up there. She always like comes down to Texas because most of the family lives in Texas. She's kind of the outlier up there. But that's a really small world stuff. I'll have to connect with you like on Messenger or something to see if we know people. That's wild. That's wild. I was never there though. I didn't go to visit. My dad's cousin was there. Miss Dragon says, "Holding in there, everyone. Tomorrow's gonna be hard since it was so close to it." I'm behind in the chat, but I'm gonna put ones for support for Miss Dragon. A lot going on. I know that it's a rough time right now. It's good to see you. I'm thinking of you, sending all of the good vibes and the good prayers and all the good happy stuff. Oh, you sent me a picture. Miss Dragon sent me a picture of the 3-year-old. It's okay to show. Her dad's gonna be the porch with the shotgun. Oh my gosh, she's adorable, Mist. Oh my goodness. Look at this sweet little face. Oh. She has very alert, intelligent eyes too. Like her eyes, they're like, she knows too much. Like she could get into some trouble. But good, sweet, wholesome trouble. She's so precious, Mist. Oh, thank you for sharing her picture with us. That's so sweet. Oh no. Yeah, that's why. Crafty Witch says doggies are grumpy because I cut their nails. I've never been able to successfully cut my dog's nails myself. He is the least aggressive animal you will ever meet unless he thinks you're threatening me or our child. Aside from that, he's the most like submissive, like chill, like sweet dog ever, but he's fast and he's slippery. So whenever I've tried to cut his nails at home myself, I've not been able to because he like suddenly he's like a greased pig and I can't keep hold of him. I don't know who this is, but apparently this is exciting. Christopher McCandless went to Emory too. Hey, can't think of a better name is here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by to hang out. Let's see. Yeah, they were scratchy. Yeah, I know when my dog starts clicking louder on the floor that it's time, or when it starts, I don't know, sometimes he starts to walk a little differently, like it's bothering him, so it has to happen every once in a while. Yes, indeed. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Yes, indeed. Indeed. And that includes like furry kids, fathers of furry children. Oh, he was the focus of Into the Wild, which was a book and a movie. I did see I remember that. I feel like I read that book in school, but it would have been a long, long time ago. And I feel like when I don't know, I feel like when I went to college and grad school, a lot of like prior knowledge got dumped from my brain to make room for all these new textbook stuff. And I don't know. But I feel like I read that. It sounds familiar. Probably if I opened it up, I would immediately start to remember it. But it's like I need that something to like jog my memory. I agree, Misha. There are a lot of amazing people in this chat. I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky y'all come out to hang out. Hey, Rick Spicer, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Yes, dog father. Happy Father's Day, dog father. And I like that word, that phrase too. The dog father. It sounds like an honorific title, you know. Dog father. Intermittent streaming is better than intermittent fasting. Well, I guess if I did it the same way, then that would mean you what? Like you don't stream for 16 hours and then you stream for 8 hours. That's a lot of streaming. Or whatever your fasting period and your food period is. Actually, I still do the intermittent fasting. I I've fudged it here and there a couple times, like by an hour or so, since I started it, but mostly I stick to it. Mostly I don't eat after 9 o'clock at night, and then I start eating again around 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. Um, I don't know, some people have big feelings about skipping breakfast, but I don't know. I'm breakfast hasn't done me much good over the past 10 years with my weight gain, and I'm losing weight, so there's something to it. There's something to it. It's working for me. It's working for me. Uh, but I do try to make sure that, like, the first thing I eat, like, when I break my fast is, like, really protein rich, so I don't lose all my muscle. Because when you lose weight, you can lose a lot of muscle, and that's not the kind of weight loss you want. Or so I hear, not a dietitian. Disclaimer, not a dietitian, not a nutritionist, not an MD, just a person. Just a person who's just talking. Miss Dragon says, "We go to a fight and a hockey game breaks out." Nice, nice. I told y'all the other night, I had a friend in college who played hockey for our school. But it basically functioned like a club team. Like, it didn't get a whole lot of funding from the school because, like, North Texas, like, I mean, the Stars are here, but other than that, like, in college, it's not a big hockey area. But we would go see his hockey games, and he said a lot of the time it was, like, just a fun excuse for him to fight. So, but it was fun to watch. It was fun. Yay! See, this is good, Mischief Managed. If you're gonna miss late night streams, then this is a good reason to miss them. Mischief Managed says, "Yeah, I've actually been sleeping at night lately." Weird. See, this is a good reason though. That's healthy, especially if you have stuff to do during the day, you know? Which not everybody has stuff to do during the day. Like, some people, like, work nights and stuff. So, I mean, oh, Crafty Witch just sent me doggy pictures. Oh, look at all those dogs. Oh, I love the doggies. That makes me so happy. I'm super behind in the chat. I have to catch up to see if Crafty Witch said if it's okay to share those or not. All right, I gotta do the skip button. Whoa, 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 whoa. It skipped too many and now it highlighted everything. You guys, I'll get this one day. I will, for sure. Someday. Someday I'll fly away. Oh, I missed so much, you guys. Oh, that's so sad. Krista Melinda, yes, McCandless died on his trip inside of an abandoned bus. Oh, that's upsetting. Oh, hey, Mo Love is here. Good to see you, Mo Love. Thanks for coming in. The CDC is there. See, I'm going backwards in the chat now, you guys. I just need to give up on being caught up. I just need to give up. Oh, driving again. Well, please take care. Be careful. Please drive safely. Please drive safely. Let's see if I missed anyone that came in. Mo Love is here. Hey, Mo Love. I want to make sure at least that I don't miss saying hi to people that come in. I should at least be able to handle that. Oh no, Becca Jean. Whoa, I just dropped my Bluetooth in water. I shook getting notified of tomorrow's forecast. Well, no more earbuds. Okay, so I've had this happen multiple times that I had to buy these. So the brand I get is called Tozo, hashtag not sponsored, TOZO. And they're pretty inexpensive, but they work fine. But they have like a basic brand that are like, I don't know, 15 or 20 bucks. But my child kept grabbing them and throwing them in the bathtub. So, or I kept dropping them in the bathtub. It wasn't always him. I think it was just him just once, and the rest of the time it was me being clumsy. But actually, these are water resistant. So they do make water resistant ones, and I think these were like what? These were like 35 or 40 bucks, which is not as cheap as the other ones, but water resistant might be worth it for you if you're like me. And I'm always misplacing them too. Like, I can never keep track of these guys. Like, even if I do my best to put them back in the case, I'm always wandering around the house going, "Hey, have y'all seen my earbuds?" Like, it's ridiculous. Aw. I love this, Misha. Misha says, "I made a picture of two goldfish swimming down a stream the other day, and I called it simulcasting." I love that. That's not lame at all. Oh, Jason played hockey for 19 years. Well, shoot. Well, shoot. That's cool. See, I've heard this too, Warren. I've heard that breakfast actually reduces your weight gain by making you less likely to eat too much later in the day. So I guess for a lot of people that works, but like, so for me, I've tried a million ways to lose weight. And well, not a million, that's exaggerating, obviously, but I tried a bunch of ways to lose weight. And I've tried just like calorie counting. I've tried using Noom. I tried using, oh, what was it? I've tried using a bunch of apps and I worked with a dietitian for a while too. And the only thing that has actually like had considerable effect for me has been the intermittent fasting thing. But maybe it's because I had a bunch of weight to lose because I started at like 260 pounds and now I'm like 209 pounds. So I'm getting somewhere. But probably I'll bring breakfast back when I get, closer to my goal weight. But for now, this is working and I'm not going to fix what's not broken. If that makes, don't, don't fix it if it ain't broke. That's the thing. That's what you say. And I don't have any, like, blood sugar imbalances or anything, so it's not, like, dangerous for me to go long periods without eating, within reason. Oh, what? I missed something. Modeling industry and meth. I wouldn't be surprised if meth were involved in the modeling industry. Probably anything to make people super duper skinny. I'm not trying to be super duper skinny. I'm just trying to get to, like, healthy weight for me that doesn't bother my knees. And so I can keep up with my child. Actually, that's my main motivation. So I can keep up with my really, really fast 5-year-old. Oh, people sent me all kinds of cool stuff. Okay. Mischief sent me something. Okay to share. My grandson who just graduated. Oh, this is Mischief Maned's grandson who just graduated. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations, Mischief. That's awesome. That's so cool, and he looks so cool in his sunglasses. He's like, "Yeah, well, I graduated. What of it?" "Oh, you were fishing today. That sounds fun. That sounds fun." Approves of photo share. Oh, awesome. Okay. Crafty Witch sent me a photo of Jason and their dogs, and this makes me so happy because, like, he's like Doctor Dolittle of the dogs, like the dog whisperer, all the dogs hanging out. That's so cool. There's 3 of them, and they're all like, "Hey, how's it going?" Oh, they're so happy. They're like, "We got our human. We're good. We're good. It's all good." I missed something, but Rick says, "Not enough ankle for me." Skating was huge all around me, but didn't work well for me. Oh, like your ankles were weak or something. Gotcha, gotcha. Warren says earbuds are so uncomfortable. I prefer full headphones. See, yeah, I can understand why that is. For me, the headphones bother me. Like for me, like the stuff over my ears bother me. Um, I mean, some are better than others, but like I don't like I've tried out like really expensive ones before that belong to other people, but I don't want to pay that much for them because I'm cheap. Do, do, do. Oh, are these a different kind of earbud? The Shocks with a KZ. That sounds exciting. Oh, I had a weird alarm going off. I've got mail. Like email? Okay, I'll have to look. Oh, wait, I have a message from y'all are awesome. Y'all are sending me all kinds of fun messages. Aw, puppies. Misha sent me puppy pictures. We gotta look at the puppy pictures, you guys. How do you not look at puppy pictures? Hello. Oh, he's so happy. Hi, guys. I love the little ears. I love when the ears flop over like that. That makes me so happy. Oh, bandana on the head, sleeping. I love that. Ooh, and these beautiful fishies. I wish I could zoom in and make it bigger. My phone is weird. But this is beautiful, Misha. Look at that. Like, I would put that on my wall. That's gorgeous. That's really pretty. Is that more of the AI art? That's really cool. Jason B says hockey is so involved. I started when I was 3 as a mini mite. So my husband grew up in the Northeast, and a lot of people did play hockey, like in Massachusetts. Hockey is big there, apparently. And I asked him, "Well, did you play when you were a kid?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Why not?" And he's like, "My mom didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. to take me to the ice rink because apparently hockey involves 5 a.m. at the ice rink." So you don't eat breakfast either, Crafty Witch? See, when I did, it was usually not big breakfast. It was usually like a granola bar or something like that. Um, and even if I think back to like when I was in high school, like I didn't like to eat anything at the beginning of the day. Like it would make me kind of sick. Like I needed to wait for my stomach to wake up or something. I think I read this book in school, but I'll have to go back and look at it I'll have to jog my memory. Yeah, it's probably not. I think I've heard a lot of supermodels smoke cigarettes for this reason to keep their weight down, which is very sad. Um, it's probably not, I mean, it's not great for you, obviously. That's well established. I like this, Rick Spicer. Everybody just different sizes to me. I go by lose weight if that's what you want, but that's the only reason, or health problems. Yeah, for me, I had several different kind of health conditions that were starting and ramping up. So that was my main concern. And also for me, it was also getting harder to move around the way I wanted to. I didn't have as much energy. And also, I have a very, very fast 5-year old who likes to elope sometimes. He likes to take off. I need to be able to keep up with him. So that's my main motivation, really. Hey, Sassy Savage, good to see you. Aw, this is sweet. Sassy Savage says Kristen is a boss. I don't know about that, but I will kindly accept the compliment and thank you. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Oh, that's interesting. The kind of headphones that Janet G has are bone conduction, so you can hear ambient sounds. They are so comfortable. Oh, that's cool. Bone conduction. That sounds like it should be creepier than it is. I know it's not, but it sounds like it should be something creepy. What? I disagree. Molove says that one's on me. I don't belong online because I never make any sense. Just because you don't make any sense doesn't mean you don't belong online. I don't make sense half the time. Hmm. And I think you make sense plenty of the time, so it's fine. Okay, Janet, awesome. I sent you a picture of my daughter after convocation. Oh, she's beautiful, Janet. Oh, wow. Oh, and that's a beautiful spot to take a photo too. Congratulations. Congratulations, Janet G's daughter. That's so awesome. It is graduation season, isn't it? Or recent graduation season. That is so cool. That's so neat. So my husband was a high school teacher and he used to have to work high school graduations every year. And he switched jobs. So this was his last year working a graduation and until he decides to go back to teaching if he ever decides to. So I was like, "Well, were you nostalgic?" And he was like, "Not about that part. It's just people walking around calling names." But like the students that like spoke to him that, he worked with, he did feel nostalgic about them. So, oh, thanks, Mo Love. Mo Love says, "I like how conversation flows so easily here. I wish I could do this." Well, I mean, I'm not doing a heck of a lot. I'm pressing go live and I'm reading the chat. I mean, that's mainly what I'm doing. Really, like y'all are talking back and forth, and sometimes y'all talk with me, but honestly, I'm not doing a heck of a lot. Every now and then I'll like find a topic to kind of start with, but um really, at this point, I just like making a space for people to hang out that, feels safe and friendly, and where I can see you guys too. So it's cool where I can connect with y'all because, especially lately, like with my job change and schedule change, I feel a little bit discombobulated. So it's kind of an anchor for me too. Wally, I have never been diagnosed with ADHD, but sometimes I can't focus for a long time on something I want to read either. I don't know what it is. Like sometimes I just have to like move around and I just can't. But I don't have diagnosed ADHD, but I can appreciate feeling like I'd really love to read this whole book, but it's not happening in my brain right now. I have to jump from thing to thing for a little bit. Do, do, do. Hey, Miss Sunrise Dawn just came in. Well, she didn't just came in. I'm 6 minutes behind on the chat, but hi, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Hi to North Georgia from North Texas. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, don't forget the future photos. That's right, you guys. Mom sent me photos from the future, and she sent them to me like within plenty of time. Ooh, ooh. I like the trees there. I don't know if I'm just imagining it, but the trees in Australia look different to me than the trees I have. And that sky is beautiful. There's a little bit of clouds, but it's like I don't know why, but this sky reminds me of like being a kid. Did you guys ever like lay on the grass and just like stare up at the sky when you were a kid or on the ground somewhere? I always thought that was fun. And if like it was enough like blue sky and it was just kind of blank, like sometimes I see these little like, like those little shadows on your retina. It's like it looks like little squiggly guys, but I didn't know they were shadows on my retina as a kid. And I thought, there's little worms in the sky. Or maybe I'm crazy and no one knows what I'm talking about. We'll see in a minute. Do, do, do. Oh, at hockey? Crafty Witch says Jason's mom was the tiniest but the loudest out of all the moms. Isn't that usually how it is? Isn't it usually like the tinier person that you wouldn't expect who's like got the huge voice when they want to? I feel like that happens a lot. And it's always like the tiniest person who can like put away the most food too. At least that's what I've seen a little bit anyway. Mon says, "Mo love, you have a great channel and your wrenches get rid of the weirdos quickly." I didn't see if you had done any lives lately, Mo love. I'll have to go over and check it out. I thought I had subbed, but I didn't see. Maybe I did. I have not been keeping up with my YouTubes as much as I usually do. And they are YouTubes plural. But you know what I just watched for the first time because I went down this narcissism rabbit hole? This creator named HG Tutor, who is supposedly a self-aware narcissist that makes videos about how to avoid being had by narcissists. Uh, I've only watched one video so far, but it's really interesting. It's like in this really like in this British accent. I think it's like a disguised voice, and like the whole like thing is like, oh, I'm being anonymous, so you can't, I get my narcissistic supply from like doing things in my personal life, and I'm just here doing this because I find it funny to like assert control over lesser narcissists or something like that. But it's really interesting so far. I think I don't know. It's interesting. Have y'all ever heard of this creator? I only just started down this particular rabbit hole. But but I'll need to like figure out how to make the umlaut over the O to find you, Mo love. I'll have to copy paste it. Aw, sassy savage. We love you too. I'm glad that it feels welcoming and loving. Yay! That's what I want. That is exactly what I want. That makes me so happy. I'm so glad it feels that way. I enjoy Rick's content too, Jason P. It always makes me smile. And Rick, you seem to post stuff like early in the morning, and lately that's been nice for me. I'm getting ready for work, and I just need like a little something like, "Wake up, Kristen!" Like, wake up and smile, and it's fun. Aw, thanks, mom. Thanks for saying the YouTube things. I always forget to say the YouTube things. Please hit the like button, unless you're disliking things, and then I suppose you can hit the dislike button. That's fine. I won't, I can take the criticism. It's fine. And if you really, really like coming here, hit the subscribe button, and then you will know. I am 5 feet 6 inches, Warren, and I'm typically sitting down when I do these lives too. So that's that you know changes it up too. My American accent, where is it from? I am a native of North Texas, actually. But I don't have as much of an accent as I probably should. And I'm not sure why that is. I think it's because my mother was an English teacher. And so like she taught us to speak very but what's funny is my mother kind of has a southern accent. Um I don't know. I guess I just whenever I was learning to talk, I was around a lot of people that didn't have very thick accents. So so I'm from the Dallas, Texas area. That's where I've lived my whole life. Like since I was 2 years old, I was born in Houston. Um, every now and then I'll get a little bit of a Texas accent, like when I get like really angry or like really upset, but I don't get angry that often. Um, so every now and then I'll like but I don't use a lot of the funny, like, Southern phrases like my mother does. I do say "y'all," but everyone uses "y'all" now. Like, that's not just a Southern thing anymore. That's all over the place. I do say "howdy." Um, I grew up saying "howdy," though. Let's see. Do, do, do. I'm catching up. I'm trying to catch up with the chat, you guys. Oh, yeah. Thank you for posting her link, Misha, because I could not StreamYard is funny, like, I can't copy and paste the same way, so thank you, I appreciate that. You know what? I totally can appreciate this, Mo love. Sometimes I surprise myself with how put together I am, and other days, I don't even know what day it is, sometimes on the same day. I can totally relate to that. I can absolutely relate to that. It actually makes me feel better to hear you say that and know that other humans have that same experience. Yeah, see, look, Jason P is there with you too. Says, "Mo, I hear that." Oh, yeah, y'all please go check out Mary at Blessed to Crochet if you haven't already. Aw, thanks, Sassy Savage. Thanks for clicking the like button. I appreciate it. Ooh, and Becca Jean sent me a text. I'm so behind on the chat. What an awesome problem. I love this problem. Oh, oh, it's the turtle and the puppy. Becca Jean. The turtle and the puppy. Well, let me see. Do, do, do. Turtle and the puppy. Tortoise. I'm sorry, tortoise. They're so cute. I love your tortoise. That makes me so happy. Oh, do they usually get along well? Crafty Witch says, random fun bit. I made meatball subs last night with herbs from the garden. Ooh. It was my first meatball sub ever and so yummy. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds fun. I usually, when I get sub sandwiches, I like cold stuff. I usually don't do like hot sandwiches, but that sounds really good. Maybe I'll try to make one someday. Thanks, Misha. Yeah, y'all please check out Miss Dragon's channel if y'all haven't already. Ooh, thanks, Mist. Miss Dragon says, I'll only be live next week, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, I will be traveling on the west side. Friday, it's shopping day again. Ugh. You don't like shopping day, huh, Mist? I think the last couple times I've heard you mention this day is shopping day, you're like, "Ugh," like it doesn't sound fun for you. Oh, wow. Becca says, my oldest is moving to SoCal next month. Her new husband is stationed there, but he's next to be deployed. Oh, gosh. So is she gonna live out there? So is she gonna be out there on her own while he's deployed? That's a bummer. That's hard. That's hard. I can't imagine, like, doing the army wife thing. Like, that must be hard. I know people do it. I know lots of people do it. I actually have a friend who does that, but, like, it was hard enough for me, like, when especially when you have kids, like, just not having the other parent around, like, to, like, tag out with when things get hairy, because that happens with children. Um, like, just when my husband was working really late a lot, like, that was rough enough for me, so I can't imagine him just being, like, gone totally all the time. But I guess people adapt. I guess it's whatever you're used to, you know? Yeah, I feel the same way, Misha. Misha says, "If I ever post channels and miss someone, it is never intentional. Please call my butt out, okay?" Generally speaking, I like to like, if anyone, like, hanging out in the chat has a channel, I pretty much always like to if they have one and they want us to call it out, I love that. I love supporting each other, especially, like, us smaller creators, like, it makes a big difference, so I love that. Thank you, Misha, for jumping on that and sharing all the links. Oh, you still do this, Mo Love? I still lie on the grass. I think it worries my family. You know what? I still do too sometimes. Like, I'll go take my dog for a walk in the evening, and then when I get back, before I go inside, like, I'll just sit on the curb, and then I'll just, like, lay on the grass with my dog, like, sitting next to me, looking at me like, "Okay, lady, like, are we going in yet? What's happening? What are we doing?" And I'm like, "Just a second, Flash. We're staring at the night sky for a second here." Oh, wow. Wally says I should weigh over 800 pounds based on the amount of food that I eat, but my metabolism is incredible. That's awesome, man. Can I have some of that metabolism? Can I have a little bit of that? I would like to eat all of the Raising Cane's fried chicken. Mary was talking about Raising Cane's earlier on her live, and I haven't eaten that in months and months. I've kind of been generally good about fried stuff. Haven't really been eating much fried stuff, but Raising Cane's is good. Ugh, that's really good fried chicken. Oh, I think I remember that Arthur episode. Art Warren says there's an Arthur episode where the brain says there's a cumulus and a cumulonimbus and a stratocumulocirrus. And Binky responds, "No, you're supposed to use your imagination." Oh, awakened. Misha says, but I was always scared when I was young to look at the sky without holding on to something. I just knew I would fly up, 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 never to return. Yeah, I can kind of have that feeling. Like even as an adult, like when you know better. Oh, he's actually British, Mom. That's not just HG Tudor is actually British. That's not just like a put on voice. I've only watched the intro video, like the why am I doing this video. And then I was like kind of going through the playlists and kind of seeing is there some like where should I start here? This is really interesting. And what something he that struck me that he said was like, if a self-aware narcissist engages in therapy, they just get better at being a narcissist. And I thought, that's terrifying. Like as a therapist, that's terrifying. Yeah, you're right. I do agree with this, Wally. The narc label is being used far too much these days. It's unfortunate because narcs really do exist. Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree. You know what? Mo Love, I like hearing people talk about politics. Just because I'm sweet doesn't mean I don't like listening to people talk about politics and terminal disease. But also the mods are the channel and they talk about their lives and I get to learn so much. Oh, that's cool. I would love to watch your channel, Mo Love. If you do content, I didn't know you did content. I would love to watch it. Yeah, that's what I have heard. Miss Dragon, like or dislike doesn't make a difference to the algorithm. It just tells the algorithm that there was engagement. I think that's interesting. I mean, obviously, I would prefer to like affect people in a more positive way that makes them click the like button. But I mean, oh, I don't think, like, I know that YouTube stopped showing other people creators' dislikes, um, but like creators can still see it. I don't think I've gotten any dislikes yet. I would have if I was gonna get some, I would have expected them, like, on the Jordan Peterson stuff because that's kind of polarizing, but I haven't gotten anything like that. Maybe I'm too smiley, but I did get a funny comment that was supposed to be a troll comment, I think, but it made me laugh. It was, on a pre-recorded video, and it was, "You'd do better if you showed your boobs." And I just started laughing. Like, it didn't really offend me, I just thought it was funny because I was like, "You don't think I know that, dude?" Like, if I wanted that kinda channel, I'd do that. That's not the kinda channel it is. So I got a good laugh about it before I deleted it. Hey, Herman does say, "Swim on over and hit the like button, and make sure you are subscribed." This is a fun way to do the YouTuber thing. I can get on board with that. Use the fishy head. Use the fishy head. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for reminding me to say the YouTuber thing. Crafty Witch says, "I only pick up accents when I talk to someone with an accent. I can't help it. If I hang out with people too like a long time, I will eventually start to pick up it a little bit." Ooh, this is a good question. Sassy Savage says, "Question, Kristen, do you feel that at times we can all be something? ADHD, ADD, OCD, depressed, anxious, and even selfish or mean? Isn't it the consistency that makes it an issue?" In a The simple answer is yes. Um, if you go looking hard enough for signs and symptoms, you will eventually find them. The point at which we're supposed to call it a diagnosis is if it interferes with a person's daily life and it's distressing to them. Um, Either distressing to them or interferes with their functioning and their daily life. Um, that's one of the reasons why actually it's incredibly difficult to diagnose something like narcissistic personality disorder because it's only going to interfere with that person's daily life if they get caught, really. But a lot of other things are going to get diagnosed a lot, like anxiety disorders, because they're distressing to people. They affect your ability to do things that you want to do. But yeah, definitely at times we can all be something, and sometimes people will meet the criteria for one mental illness at one time in their life, and then time will go by and they won't meet criteria for that anymore, and they might meet criteria for something else. So there's a lot to that. And yeah. Oh, thanks, Mo. Mo Love says, "You have a good American accent. Americans don't realize they all have accents too." And I love yours. And I also love like very north ones. Oh, like northern accents, like New York, New England, New Hampshire, like that area. The New Yorker accent is different from like New England, like Massachusetts and New Hampshire. And then like Michigan, Wisconsin, that area has its own accent too that's very unique. Yeah, Wally, hearing non-Southerners say "y'all" always throws me off. Yeah, exactly, Sassy Savage. Comment, "I guess an excess of anything can and probably isn't you." Yeah, for exactly. That's exactly the point at which you call it a diagnosis, is if it's so much that it's messing with a person's life. Like, everybody has a little bit of anxiety, but not everybody has generalized anxiety disorder. And everybody can be a little picky about certain things, but not everybody has obsessive compulsive disorder. It has to like get to a level where it's interfering with your life to be called a diagnosis. Ooh. Ooh, thank you, Misha. The video Misha just posted a video for her a link for her latest video on her channel. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think y'all got popularized by music. Like I feel like I started hearing it in a lot of music. And then everybody started saying it, which is fine. Now I don't seem like a weirdo. Well, actually, I do still seem like a weirdo, but it's for other reasons that have nothing to do with saying y'all. Ah. Oh, Jason P, you have family in Boston. They say khakis. It sounds like khakis. For anybody just listening and not reading the chat, Jason P wrote out car keys, and it sounds like khakis, like khaki pants. Yep, yep. My father-in-law has tried to teach me how to do the Massachusetts accent, uh, but I always kinda, like, draw it out a little bit too much, like, I try too hard. Like, at its heart, Massachusetts accent it's like a lazy accent. It's like a lazy British accent, like, you can't be bothered to put R's on the end of words, basically. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Catching up with the chat. Do, do, do. Oh, okay, Mist. This makes sense. I only shop every other week, so I shop for 2 weeks time. And since I live so far out, ooh, it's about a 60-mile drive round trip. Oh, okay. So yeah, I can see why you wouldn't be super jazzed for shopping day then. Oh, I didn't know this. For when you pick up someone else's accent, Janet G says there's a term for that. The phenomenon is called the chameleon effect, or more formally, unintentional mirroring. Some people do it subconsciously. I think I probably do this, but they also teach you to do a little bit of this. I mean, not exactly mirroring, but um like, there's a whole, like, section of like, if you go to grad school for counseling psychology, there's a whole section where they talk about active listening, like how like, what kind of body language shows people you're listening to them, and mirroring their accent is not necessarily one of them, but, like, facing towards a person and, like, being open and, like, making eye contact and all that kinda stuff. But then, like, using the same language, that's kind of like a step higher. Like, people can relate to you better if you use their verbiage for things. Yes, I love this, Misha. We support our community by sharing amazing content of peeps who want to share their own corners of the galaxy. I love that. I love that you called it corners of the galaxy. I love that phrase. That's awesome. Wally, I still wouldn't mind having your super fast metabolism. Oh man, sassy savage. Lived the army wife life. It sucks. Now I'm an army mom and it sucks worse. Oh man. Yeah, ooh, yeah. Yeah, I mean my kid's only 5, but yeah, I just to put my head in that headspace of, like, being off and away somewhere like that, ooh, that's hard. Super proud of my boys, but it's not an easy life, always worrying. My dad was actually an Air Force brat. His dad, my granddad, the one who caught Herman, was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and they moved probably every couple years, and one of the places they lived in was Japan for a couple of years. And my aunt taught me the only phrase in Japanese I know, and I think it's correct. I think it's real, and it's "Nihongo shinsin wakarimasen," and supposedly that means I don't speak a word of Japanese. My accent's probably terrible. If anybody who speaks Japanese stumbles across this, I apologize, but that is what she taught to me. Catching up on the chat. Well, I'm still 9 minutes behind because you guys are awesome and you chat and you talk to one another. And that makes me happy. You don't necessarily need me to like throw everything up there because y'all are talking to each other. Oh, okay, Mon. Mon said my understanding is yes about HG Tudor being British. Doug Kramer did a lot of RAP of discussions with HG Tudor. Yeah, I was looking at the playlist and I saw Doug Kramer on one of them and I'm like, wait, I know who that is from SPTV. What's this about? Moab. I always get comments about my awesome boobs. Just lean into it. Hey, I mean, may as well just lean into it, right? Like, Oh man, sassy savage, that's rough. My son has been deployed twice in 5 years. He joined out of high school behind my back. Oh, that's rough. Proud of him, but wasn't the life I would have chosen. Always want to protect your babies. Heck yes. Heck yes. That's rough. I mean, we're grateful for his service, but that's rough on a mama. Heck and heck. Rick Spicer says, I Love Lucy made a lot of Ricks, Richard. Ricky's Rick. I loved that show. I loved I Love Lucy. I used to watch that on Nick at Night all the time. I actually have like a season on DVD back there, but I forget that I have a DVD player, so I haven't watched it in a while. But that show was just fun. I mean, probably if I go back and watch it now, I'm like, this show would never like be on the air now. Like it would offend everybody. But I liked it. It was fun. Really? Misha says Mo invites trolls to stay and be seen. Me and Lord Kiss Freak were having so much fun one night whacking. She was like, no, you guys, let them be heard. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's fascinating. I'll have to check that out. Ooh, okay. Miss Dragon says, send a pic of my location. It's okay to share. Awesome. I love when you guys send me like, oh, wow. I'm the blue daughter at the base of the mountains. Wow. The blue dot at the base of the mountains. Oh, my glare is not awesome for this. Can you see the blue dot? No. Yeah, there's the blue dot right there at the base of the mountains. No wonder you don't love shopping day. That is probably tricky to drive out from to go do the shopping. Gee. Yeah, that's probably not super fun. Hey, and here's Warren's link. I didn't know. Yeah, I haven't gone over to see Warren's channel yet. I have to go take a look. Wait, how does that work? Mo Love, you have no videos, but so do you like do live pop-ups and then delete them? Is that how that works, Mo Love? Oh, yeah, yeah, you said this later in the chat and I guessed. Ooh, this is a good question, Warren. What happens when a narcissist has children? Do they care about them? If so, what about stepchildren or adopted children or parents or other relatives? Where does the circle of care stop? So I'm still learning, but from what I have seen, when a narcissist has children, it has terrible effects on the children. And then they grow up kind of traumatized, and it makes it difficult for them to have healthy relationships because one of their parents, which is kind of like your parents, the people that raise you, are kind of your blueprint for what a relationship is. If it was dysfunctional, it kind of affects the way that you interact with everybody and the way that you approach relationships later. There's a theory that a lot of people develop borderline personality disorder this way from having a narcissistic parent. Um, because it's like a reaction to like borderline personality. The hallmark is like extreme emotionality and like swings from one extreme to the other. And like this black and white thinking of like, you're awesome, you hung the moon, and then no, you're the worst thing in the world. And the theory is that this is like a survival strategy to like deal with like narcissists, like major mood swings, and like it's a way to get along with them, basically, when you have to, because you're a child and you depend on your parents for sustenance and life, you know? But I mean, that theory is not necessarily always true, but I think it's probably generally safe to say that when a narcissist has children, if they raise those children, it does lead to difficulty and trauma. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let Miss Dragon say it. Yeah. Yeah. They take it out on the kids, even when they're mad at somebody else. Miss Dragon says, I was raised by a narcissist adopted mom. And I'm catching up on the chat. Ooh, this is a fun question. I got one I was asked in school one time. Is it insane for a sane man to act insane, to remain sane in an insane world? Hold up, I have to catch up with that. Gotta catch up with that there. Is it insane for a sane man to act insane to remain sane in an insane world? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, personally, but that's a tongue twister. Misha says, "I used to be really bad about typing. I would type like I talk. LOL, I thought it was my own personal style coming through. I've been informed it doesn't translate well. Oops, still do it sometimes." I don't know. I don't know that it doesn't translate well. Like, I don't know, you've never rubbed me the wrong way or anything like that, Misha. Hey, Janelle H, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. I just have to figure out how to make umlauts on a keyboard, my love. That's all. That's all. Yes, that's a Northeast thing. The only thing I say is Jimmy. Wally says the only thing I say is Jimmy's instead of sprinkles, and I used to say wicked a lot. That's about it. Yeah, I learned the phrase wicked when I married somebody from Massachusetts and met all of his family. Um, Wicked pissa. That's a thing. That's a phrase that I learned. I've heard of this too, Warren. Warren says CGP Grey has talked about how Americans in the UK often develop pseudo-British. Didn't Madonna have a pseudo-British for a while? Oh, okay. Good night, Mo Love. Thanks for coming by. Mo Love says, I love you guys. I hope to see you all soon. I cannot say this, but I believe it is French. Bonne nuit et dormez bien? Maybe? Maybe that's how you say it? I don't know. I could have butchered it. But you're saying good night. Good night. And if I missed somebody else saying goodnight, I apologize. I'm super behind on the chat. Oh, wow. Your son told you at 9 he was going in the army, Sassy Savage? I thought he would grow out of it, but in 7th grade, he wanted off ADD meds and want to join our junior ROTC. Never went back on meds and spent the 6 years in. Wow. You know what? It's gonna sound funny. It's gonna sound bad. I dated 2 guys who joined either the Army or the Air Force. One was the Air Force, the other was the Army. They went to go to basic training. One of them and then they both had to leave because of, like, anxiety or depression or something like that, and they both had to discharge and come back home. One at basic training and then the other, like, a little further on down the road. And then I had another friend who the same thing happened. So I think that's weird. I guess see, even when I was in high school, the people I hung out with were people that needed someone to talk to. It's just how I am, I guess. Oh, really, Crafty Witch? My dad was born in Japan while my grandpa was stationed for Air Force. Really? I wonder around what time that would have been. So, um, I'll have to find out from my dad, like, the actual years they were stationed there. Like, I'll have to find that out. Thanks, Wally. I tried. Konnichiwa. Oh, I can say a couple other ooh, yeah, gyoza. Those dumplings, those Japanese dumplings are really me for sure. Yes, rest in peace, Doug Kramer. Doug had done interviews with he did interviews with, HG Tudor. Yeah. Janelle H says, "Japanese students in my dorm taught us to say something that sounded like 'Wakurimasen' and then quickly fetch them. Didn't go over well when the calls were for one of the 3 girls from Korea." Ooh, yeah, yeah, that would that would probably not go over well. Yeah, the I Love Lucy episodes were mostly black and white, Warren, but that never bothered me. I don't know, it didn't occur to me. I didn't realize that until I just started looking at them today. Doug Kramer, rest in peace, HG Tudor had done a lot of interviews with Doug. Doug was part of SPV in the early days, is my understanding. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get to know him a whole lot until just shortly before he passed, unfortunately. Oh, does this yeah, I guess this would happen too. Wally says when narcissists have children, the children either become narcissists or basket cases until they figure out a way forward. Miss Dragon says, I took comfort in the fact that my narcissistic adopted mother was not of my gene, that I would not be like her, and I'm not. See, there is an element of choice. I think, yeah, yeah, you chose not to be like that. There's some of that there, but it requires people to be self-aware too, and not everyone is. Misha says, adopted to a narcissistic mom and dad who was devoted only to her. Yes, major mental issues. Do I know? So it sounds like a lot of people have experience with this. Wow, Jason P too. Jason P says, my father was a narcissist. He taught me a lot about life and what not to become. Wow. I had no idea so many people like had so many close relationships like that and had been so closely, affected. Wally says the ones who don't become narcs, though, can be highly empathic, oddly enough. Still, they're generally traumatized, sadly. I guess if you're raised by a narcissist, you might develop that as like a coping mechanism. Like you're constantly like gauging the mood of the parent to keep yourself safe and make sure that you feel secure. So maybe that's part of what that is you develop that empathy. I have one of my exes. Not the one who comes to the chat sometimes, not him. Another one that's never been here before. After we cut off contact, after we broke up, when I would describe him to other people said to me, he sounds like a narcissist. And I was always on the fence. And I'm still kind of on the fence about it just because that's such a heavy label to give somebody. And I don't know. But people told me that they thought perhaps that was the issue, but it was very clouded because he had other issues too. So who knows if that was the ultimate issue. Have you not heard that, Misha? Wicked Pissa? That's when something's really good, is what I've gathered. It's really good. Oh, I didn't know this. To add an accent on a letter, while typing that letter, hold down the key. A little menu should pop up. What? That's awesome. I'm gonna try it. Oh, me too, Crafty Witch. Crafty Witch says, I love listening to foreign music. It's weird. Even if you don't understand the words, you can feel them through the music. Yes, totally. Absolutely. Oh, you sent a picture from back in 1964? Oh, that's awesome. Let me look. Let me look. I'm sort of catching up to the chat a little bit. A little bit. Wow. Oh, this is so cool. The ladies made my dad a kimono when they lived in Japan. Oh, that is adorable. Holy guacamole. Tiny baby in a kimono. Oh my goodness. Look at those cheeks too. That is so cute. Oh, Crafty Witch, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. That is so great. Oh, really, Mon? Mon says in Australia, they're changing the enlistment list of illnesses due to needing recruits. Previously, even if you wore glasses, you couldn't get into the defense force. Wow, glasses? Really? I don't think the United States ever cared about glasses. I think there was a point at which you could get out of the draft if you had like flat feet, but they stopped caring about stuff. There was a point at which like you weren't allowed if you were taking psychiatric medications. Um, so like 2 or 3 guys I knew, no, this was a while back. This was, I don't know, like early 2000s. So a couple of guys I know, they just lied. They just like they just they just lied. They said they'd never taken psych meds and that they'd never been diagnosed with a psych illness. Th and they all had. So maybe that's why it didn't work out. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that's a good point, Warren. Yeah. It's only unlucky that I Love Lucy was in black and white because her red hair was a big deal. You're right. They would always talk about her being a redhead, but, like, you could never see it. You just had to, like, take their word for it. Oh, wow. Rick Spicer says, "That's right, Crafty. Music can have no language. I watched, like, Got Talent in many languages." And Crafty Witch says, "Yes, I'm addicted to The Voice in all countries." I remember when The Voice first came out, that was such a cool concept to me. I was actually in my first year of grad school, the first season of that show, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to watch TV, but I remember it was like when Hulu, you could get, like, practically free Hulu, and it was on Hulu, I think. Um, but I remember, like, I thought that was the coolest concept that they had to, like, make the choice, like, just based on hearing the person and not what they looked like. I thought that was cool. Oh, wow. Misha says, "I didn't even realize mom was a narcissist until a year or so ago. I never realized I was angry with her or any of the things I had went through as a child. I effectively was her real life doll." That's awful, Misha. Yeah, that is what I have heard, and that is what I have read and gathered is that for like a true narcissist, their children are like, well, people in general, if they keep people close to them, the people are like objects and often they're accessories and it's like they're an extension and they keep people close to them that have some kind of a benefit to them directly or make them look good. Um so that it can really mess with a person's self-esteem growing up for sure, because it's all kind of superficial. Oh, wow, Mist. Mist says, "Hubby fixed me before I knew I was broken. I said I'm sorry for everything." Wow. That's huge. That's huge if you have a partner that, like, just, like, intuitively, like, gets you and what happened. That's huge. That's great. Jason P says, "It's a sad thing when we resent our parents." Yeah, even if they were terrible, like, resentment kinda it's not a fun energy to have. Like, even if they were objectively terrible and, like, were abusive, resentment is not a fun or productive feeling to carry around. Wally says, "I believe my father is a narc, but I'm hesitant to say for sure. He wasn't or isn't grandiose or even covert, a neglectful version, as Dr. Ramani has outlined." Yeah, I've been watching more Dr. Ramani lately too, trying to figure that out. And, it's anytime you hear somebody talking about like a particular diagnosis, you automatically start thinking back to people and like, well, is that what so and so had going on? Is that what so and so had going on? And I'm just so like hesitant to like put that label on anybody. Even the person I had arguably like the most toxic relationship ever with, I'm still hesitant to put that label on. And I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my particular hang up or something. Janelle H says, "I wonder if being raised by narcissistic parents made us more susceptible to being recruited into cults later in life. Like we had skills to take that oppressive abuse." That's a good question, Janelle. I mean, that would make sense, actually, because I think most cults are started by, if not like full blown narcissists, but then people with a lot of narcissistic qualities. So maybe there's something to that. Like maybe, we kind of like, unless we get aware of it, we kind of tend to repeat relationship patterns from our childhood. So even if something was not healthy, it kind of like feels like home. And so we kind of seek out those things. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, Misha. Misha says, "Until she died, then I was literally a broken doll, left to face the world without anyone or anything to tell me what to do next. The last time I went to see Chris at the cemetery, I yelled at my mom." Wow, Misha. I'm just going to put ones for love and support for you, Misha. I don't blame you for yelling at your mom at all. At all. That's really, really tough. I think that's a great video to share with therapists. Mon asked Misha, "Can I share your aunt's video to some therapists I know? Only if you give me permission, though." I love the artistic interpretation of automatic negative thoughts and how they kinda creep into your head. I think that's a great idea. If she says yes, I might share that with my therapist friends too, the people in the offices next to me. Sassy Savage says, I don't think I've ever even thought about if my dad was a narcissist. Selfish? Definitely. Something to ponder. Yeah, like just because someone is selfish and a jerk doesn't necessarily mean they're a narcissist, but they might be. I mean, somebody can be a terrible person without being a narcissist, that's for sure. He was a terrible father, though, that's for sure. A total tyrant, says Wally. Yeah, we can acknowledge that. Even if we don't know for sure if a particular label fits a person, we can acknowledge if somebody was not a good person, right? Oh, good. Misha says it's cool to share the ants video with the therapists. Thank you for asking. I wasn't sure which sounded better. My kid said the second one, but now I think it was just my sound bar broken. Whatever sounds best. Awesome. Yeah, I fell asleep listening to Dr. Ramani videos last night. Like, I put some in my queue meaning to stay awake, and then I fell asleep on the couch. Oh, wow. Sassy Savage says, "My dad only cared about his wants. Electricity be damned, but didn't stop him from walking in with a new toy. I never thought he played games with me, just mean. Don't think that's a narcissist." Yeah, I mean, we'd have to know more, but I think that people can be selfish without being a narcissist. People can be bad people and bad parents without being a narcissist. Um, I think the hallmarks of the narcissist are that they can't or don't feel empathy for other people. Like they can intellectually think about what it's like for other people to feel something, but they can't emotionally recognize that. Um, And then my understanding, the core of a person with narcissistic personality disorder is that they had some kind of terrible, awful thing happen to them very early on in childhood that totally shattered their ego. And that this persona that they create is just to protect and cover up whatever that terrible thing was. And they're in such deep, deep, deep denial about that, that it, like, removes all ability to, have some self-awareness about it. So the idea of a self-aware narcissist is really interesting to me because I'm thinking, how does that work? How does that even happen? If you became truly like self-aware as a narcissist, the whole thing would shatter, right? And then you would probably have a nervous breakdown. So like I'm wondering how, I mean, I'll have to watch more videos, but I'm wondering how a person like HG Tudor became a self-aware narcissist without having a full-on nervous breakdown, you know? Misha. Krista Melinda worries about getting behind in comments. I stay behind. That's cool. We'll stay behind together. Oh, thanks for asking, Jason P. KM, you kind of touched on it, but how was your first full week at your new job? It was great. It really was. So, we're still building my caseload. So, what I'm doing a lot of right now is like intakes. Like the practice I work with has what's called a client care coordinator. So, it's kind of like a person that therapy clients would meet with first to do an initial interview and like put them with the best counselor who's the best fit for them, what their concerns are based on like what kind of, who they're comfortable with, like they want a male or a female or certain age group or whatever. So I did a lot of those last week. Um, some of them stayed on my caseload to see weekly or to see regularly, and some of them, fit better with other people. But it's just really great to like be in the room with human beings again and actually like talk about things that matter to people. And, people typically come to therapy because they want to get better and they want help. And it's nice to be able to try to give people some hope, you know, even if I'm not the best therapist for them, like it's rewarding to be able to share hope with people again, and try to get them further in the direction they want to go. And that was the big thing I was missing working for a health insurance company, is feeling like I was making a difference, which I know sounds very, I don't know, highfalutin and whatever, and, like, I should be grateful for just having a job because a lot of people don't. Um, but nobody goes to, school to be a counselor to then go, sit at a desk and work for a health insurance company for the rest of their life. It's just not what I had in mind. I kinda fell into that job kind of as like a, because it was good money, at a time when I needed that. Um, but I just like, I was tired at the end of the day, but it was a good kind of tired, you know? It was a very good kind of tired. And when I came home at the end of the day, my husband said, "I can tell you're tired, but you seem so happy and you seem like you again." So that's meaningful. That means something. Thank you, Mon. I second this. Mon says, "I just want to send one's love to those affected by psychological or physical trauma. Love to all." Yes, I agree 100%. Hey, look, it's Hey Carrie Ann. I didn't see you come in. Good to see you. As always, I am behind in the chat, but it is good to see everybody. I'm going to try to catch up here and then probably start to wind it down because we've been hanging out for almost an hour and a half. Not that I don't love to hang out longer, but now I'm starting to get kind of sleepy. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And now I have to click the new comments. Do, do, do. Yeah, the narcissist label. Wally says totally. It's a really bad label to give someone, so it's wise to take one's time in applying it. Well, I also hesitate to apply any kind of diagnostic sounding label to a person because I'm really sensitive to what that means, like that can follow a person around for a long time, even if it's not someone officially diagnosing someone, especially something like that. It can follow a person around. It can affect like all kinds of things in their life. So, I mean, I guess if it's useful to the person who experienced abuse in a relationship to kind of realize that's what they were and that's what happened, then that's good. But I don't know. I'm very cautious about labels like that. Oh, I got a message. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try to catch up. I'm sorry, sassy savage. Kristen, I absolutely love you, but hate that you explained the background of a narc only because it hit the heart and I felt it. I'm so sorry, sassy savage. It was not my intention to upset or offend or trigger. I know I'm behind in the chat, but are you okay? If you need to step out, then that's I understand. Um, I always want everybody to take care of themselves. Whatever that means for you. If you need to take a minute, if you need to leave the chat, I'm really, really sorry if I hit you too hard. That's never my intention to sneak up on anybody with stuff like that. Never my intention. I should put trigger warnings on stuff like that. Totally love your honesty. Sometimes we need a dose of that to swallow and ponder. Yes, sending you so much love. Sometimes things hit and it's so super important to stop and listen. Super love to all. Yeah, sassy savage. Yeah, lots of love, support and ones. Um if there's anything that we can do to help support you or if you want to like talk through that more, um please let me know. I'm sorry I didn't give a warning about that. Sometimes I forget that yeah, sometimes I get too wrapped up in like the diagnostic academic part of it. So I apologize. I should have given a warning before I went into that. Oh, yeah, Misha, if you're worried that you are, I don't think you are. Misha says, I was scared recently. I was afraid I was a narcissist, but then again, I am a highly sensitive person. So I truly think that everyone has a little bit of narcissism, in my opinion. Well, there's a difference between like narcissistic qualities and full blown like personality disorder. Like that's totally a different thing. Um, like and there is such a thing as like healthy narcissistic qualities, like having a little bit of self-esteem, having a little bit of self-confidence. Um, I heard somebody say recently, like, you have to have a little bit of narcissism to go live on YouTube. So maybe even I have a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you can't feel empathy. That doesn't mean that you have full-blown narcissistic personality disorder. And if you're wondering about it and you're self-aware about it, then it's probably you probably are not, you know? But I think everybody, like, human beings, I think everybody can be a little selfish from time to time, and that doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't make you a narcissist, you know? It's more complicated than that. It's not totally black and white. Mom says, I had thought I was in a relationship with a narc for 6 months. Friends have said I was lucky and didn't move to another state and dodged a bullet. They had developed another relationship with someone. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Jason P says narcissistic behavior is thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. Yeah. It they need what's called narcissistic supply, which is like people to feed their ego, like to make them feel superior, you know. That's a good question, Warren. Warren asks, "What's the gender balance like among therapists in your new job?" So everywhere I've ever worked, there have been way more female therapists than male therapists. That's just what I've seen to be the case. I think we're a practice with like 30 plus therapists in it. Like there's different locations. We're not all in one building, but and I think there are 2 men, and that's not, because she's not hiring men. That's just because there's more female counselors out there than men. Um, and then everywhere else I worked was like that too. Like there were way more female mental health care workers than there were male mental health care workers. And I don't know why that is exactly. I don't know if less men go into the field. I don't know if they apply to work at different types of settings or something like that, but it it is kind of interesting. That would be interesting to look into. I would like it if there were more male therapists, especially there are a lot of like young, like teenage male clients that kind of could benefit from, like a adult male therapist, I think, like as a role model, maybe, but there aren't as many of them. Thanks, Jason P. I appreciate this. Thanks so much. I know I'm jumping around in the chat, so I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, try to catch up. Hey, hey, Kim White. Good to see you and around the chat. Thanks for coming to say hi and hang out with us for a little bit. I appreciate it. I'm curious. I've got lots of new comments here. Yeah, this is a good conversation you guys are having over here. I'm not even able to keep up with the whole thing. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Misha. Misha says it's hard to know when things like that will come up. Your lives are always so informative and loving, and we never really know what is going to come out. That's the only problem with not having a topic and not having a plan, right? Is that it's hard to warn people. Sometimes heavy stuff comes up. It's true. I just want to make sure you're okay, sassy savage. That's all. That's all. Aw. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy the lives. Disclaimer, not a substitute for a therapeutic relationship. But, yeah, I can't help but think about from that perspective because that's, that's in my brain, right? I can't help but think about stuff that way. Oh, this is interesting. Misha says many people who are on the spectrum also have a form of ODD as adults called, oppositional defiant disorder as adults called pathological demand avoidance. I have this, but in a weird self deprecating way. It sucks. Great big. Yeah. If you guys don't know what, hey, Jazzy Girl Sarah, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming to say hi. So, if y'all don't know what pathological demand avoidance is, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's basically whenever something comes up that, like, whenever there's a demand placed on us, like, I need you to go to the store and buy such and such. Well, now that it's a demand, it's now, oh, well, I can't handle that because someone has demanded I do something and it's something I have to get done and I can't handle that. So I'm just going to like try to avoid it and do everything else to not do it. And it becomes pathological when it gets in the way of you living your daily life, right? Which, if you're never able to get anything done, you need to get done, that can be called pathological pretty fast. But yeah, that's really common with neurodivergent folks. It's like there's a focused motivation difficulty that happens there that you have to work through differently. Oh, wow, sassy savage. No wonder. I just know that I've always been sensitive to wanting my dad's love. And 2 years ago, I think that says I reached out again after 15 years and he replied, wow. So sassy savage, I don't know if narcissism is what's going on with him because I don't know him, but um I would just say, keep your healthy boundaries, right? And take care of yourself. Like you know, if you're having a good interaction with him, that's awesome. But pay attention to how you feel, right? Like if you feel good, note that after interacting. If you don't feel good, note that too. My lifestyle was mine and not his. Don't know what that means, but I'm so proud of my boys and shame on him for not knowing them. Exactly. Exactly. Misha says the pathological demand avoidance is so very debilitating, like my feet and brain are stuck in concrete. There was a it's kind of related. Like I saw a recent video about motivation and ADHD, and it's kind of applicable to pathological demand avoidance. It's about like if you're neurodivergent, like it tends to be more difficult to be motivated by like a further off reward, right? Like if somebody's okay, like I know if I like go do my chores and if I go to the bank and I run my errands and I do all the things I need to do, I'll feel good at the end of the day and I'll have all my stuff done. But that reward feels so far off that it just doesn't land in a person's brain the same way sometimes if they're neurodivergent, and everybody's different obviously. um but the idea is to set it up so that you have like little like mini rewards at like different steps along the way. So it might be something as simple as like, well, if I get dressed, then, I'll listen to my favorite song. And then if I get to the bank, I can stop by this place and get a soft drink or whatever. But it's about like setting up like goalposts along the way to like keep yourself motivated. And of course, what motivates different people is different. Like one person's motivated by soda, another person hates soda. It's not going to work. You have to figure out what kinds of things are rewarding to you, right? That reward doesn't land in my brain, says Wally. The one about getting all your chores done at the end of the day. I'll do it tomorrow. Wally every single day of his life. Yeah, because it's too far off. The reward of it's too far off and it's too abstract, right? Like some of us with our, neurodivergent brains or brains that work a little differently, you need like a different motivator. And what works for you is going to be different than like what works for me. So Did my spaced out link get through earlier or not? I did not see it, Warren. That doesn't mean it didn't come through because I've been a little bit behind in the chat, a little bit thrown off. But it's a Substack article called Men Can Heal. Oh, that sounds like a great article. I'm not sure who we're talking about. I lost track. But Miss says that kid tested out of high school in 7th grade. Wow. He didn't do high school. He got his GID. He's now a precision aerospace machinist on Dean's list at his trade school. Oh, your kiddo. That's right, Miss Dragon. That's awesome. Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting. Jason P says, one thing I have noticed in my years on this earth is how very important it is for people to save face. It's fascinating to see, in my opinion. Yeah, people are very averse to admitting that they're wrong or that they have changed their mind with new information, um, which I don't really mind admitting I'm wrong about things. I mean, I don't mind losing face, like, I guess. And I didn't realize that was weird until just recently. Um, but yeah, you're right. That's very common. People don't like to it's an ego thing, I guess, but it's really common, you know? Sassy Savage says, Kristen, again, love you in this wonderful chat. I'm working through my stuff. Okay, great. I just want to make sure you're all right. Thanks for checking in. Janelle H says, demands seem to derail my approach. It takes so much more thinking to get stuff done compared to non autistic approaches, and the interruption knocks my record needle out of the group. Oh, I hate the interruptions. Yeah. Like if it's something that really demands like intense focus, like that was one of the things I hated about my previous job is that people would ping you constantly, like just with like little questions, like little things that weren't really immediate, they weren't urgent, they could wait. And people would email you constantly, but so you constantly had the email pinging and the instant messenger pinging. So if you had a project or report that you had to like really like buckle down and focus on, you still had all these pings and all these emails coming up and da 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 da. And you could do stuff like go on do not disturb, but then I got to a point where people would, like, go around the do not disturb and text me, so I could never, like, focus when I had to, like, write a long report or something like that. So I hear you on the little interruptions. The little interruptions suck. I got to where I had to, like, set really firm boundaries with people and just had to say, "Hey, look, I have to write this report by this time. I'm going on do not disturb. Don't text me unless it's an emergency." I had to do that. But I know that's not always an option. Sassy Savage says, just kind of mad at myself for trying it 2 weeks ago. Should have let it go. I would encourage you to not be so hard on yourself. You know, I mean, this isn't just some random person. This is your dad. Like, of course, you're going to want to have a relationship with this person. I, I would encourage you not to be mad at yourself. I mean, if you feel your feelings, I'm not telling you how to feel. That's not what I mean at all. But I would just encourage you to be kinder to yourself about it. It's a very human thing to want contact with a person like that. Um, and just because it didn't, you can make a different decision today or tomorrow if you want to about how you interact with this person, you know, but try to be kinder to yourself. I am a Dr. Pepper holic too, Crafty Witch. For those that are Dr. Pepper holics like me, I found Target has a sparkling water called Dr. Cherry Vanilla. No artificial sweeteners and yummy. That sounds awesome. That sounds wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. I can see this, Janelle H. Basic stuff requires a plan. It can be trying to get to the store for a couple of days sometimes. What seems basic to others requires a lot of unseen script running to get to it. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I don't have it quite that intensely, uh, but I've talked to people who have, and There have been times where in my life where I have felt the need to like plan things to the T before I can, take the plunge and do them. But yeah, especially if certain social interactions are more difficult for whatever reason, you have to like try and figure out like what's going to happen when you go do the thing. Oh, Warren says heal health education and administrative literacy. These describe a lot of female dominated fields. Efforts to get more men into these are a mirror image of efforts to get women into STEM. Oh, that's really cool. I'll have to look at that, Warren. Oh no, I disagree with this wholeheartedly. Wally, you are not useless. You, from what I know of you, you make really interesting comments. You make really, really thoughtful contributions to the chat, and I enjoy interacting with you. I mean, I know I don't know you in day to day in person life, but I enjoy talking with you. So I disagree with this. I disagree. Respectfully, I disagree. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Misha. Misha says, "Sassy savage, honey, be mad at your dad if you want to. I understand the need, but that is not a bad thing. You want a relationship with someone who should be something. It's not your fault he can't be." I think that's a great comment, great feedback, Misha. Oh, is this that kind of self-deprecating humor where we kinda, like, put ourselves down a little bit, but we're kinda serious, but we're kinda joking? Yeah, I know how that goes. I do that a lot. Or I'm trying to less, but I still do. Yes, exactly. Misha said it, "Wally, you're one of us, like it or not. The choice has been made. We don't do worthless. You're important to us." Exactly. Misha said it. Yep. Hey, Warren, if you want, if you have a Facebook Messenger, you can send me the link and I'll post it because it might just be blocking it if you're not a mod, maybe. Oh, I didn't know that Misha said or Miss Dragon says, Warren Shell, I'm a science kid. My Associate of Arts is in science. Dad was a science and history teacher, and mom was an RN health teacher. Oh, that's cool. Small victories are incredibly important. Take much joy in little things. Sometimes the small victory is getting up out of bed and getting dressed, right? If that's a whole lot more, if you didn't like, if you stayed in your PJs all day for the past week, then getting out of bed and getting dressed is the victory, right? Like it's all relative. Then you have to start with like small goalposts that are achievable before you jump up to the, I don't know, like going out and talking to people in the day world, you know? Ooh, someone wants to send you a message. I wonder if that's Warren. Do, 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 do. It is. Awesome. Well, now my phone is thinking. It's got the spinning wheel of doom. It's a bummer. I love that you guys connect in the chat here with one another. That's awesome. That makes my day. That's that's totally what I want for this is to be a safe space to hang out and chat and also, for people to connect with one another. If you have something in common with someone in the chat and you feel you can relate to them, that's awesome. This makes me happy. Hey, Robert James, good to see you. Hi, stopped in to say goodnight, all. Well, good night, Robert James. It's good to see you. Huh. Janelle H says, I wonder how many of us are arty. You mean like arty autistic or arty like artistic or autistic or both? I don't know. So I tried to open the message, but it's just like giving me the spinning wheel of doom. Oh, there it is. It woke up. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I am going to share this link that if it will let me put it in the chat. I don't know. It may not even let me put it in the chat because it's not a link to someone's YouTube page. It's just a link. We shall see. Do, do, do. Oh, it's still on HD Tutor stuff. It's so weird to see myself on screen. It's very strange. Honestly, guys, I don't look at myself a whole lot on screen when I'm doing this. I mostly look at the chat. And then every now and then I look at the camera. Like, but I mostly don't. Sometimes I look to make sure there's like my dog's not like jumping up in the background or something, but other than that, not so much. And this is the article that Warren was talking about. If y'all wanted to take a look about that, look at that. It sounds like a cool resource. I think you're definitely artistic, Misha. You create a lot of cool stuff. Misha says, I try to be artistic. Sometimes I am successful, other times I am at least worth a laugh or two. I think you are very successful in being artistic, Misha. Like I've seen and heard stuff that you've made, and I think it's really cool. Oh, okay. Janelle H says, oh, I never say artistic or acoustic for autistic. I meant engage in art or craft of some sort. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I think probably quite a few of us in the chat do some kind of art or craft or something like that. Jazzy Girl Sarah says, every day was all about education with my mom as she was a teacher. Miss her. She found a way to teach Keston in fun ways. That's really cool. Yeah, Jana G is arty. Crafty Witch makes a good point. What you think is art, Misha. Yep. I like that. Jana G is arty. Guilty pleasures. Writer, editor, jewelry maker, knitter, Plano. I love people that can make jewelry. I think that's so cool. Somebody I know made this a long, long time ago. And it's like my go-to to like dress up a t-shirt. Dopamine is different from doing crafts. Some people get the dopamine from the crafts, right? Janet G and so many of Mom says, Janet G and so many of you are clever and artistic. I can't make anything, unfortunately. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not artistic. Like, I think part of that is just about self-expression. I don't make a whole lot of things. Somebody told me singing is playing an instrument, even though I don't like play the piano or read music or anything. Somebody told me that was, kind of artistic, even if I'm just singing along to other people's stuff. So I don't know if it's as narrow as we make it. Hmm. Hey, look, it's Seventh Son. See, this is why when you're just about to like sign off, you don't. Because more cool people pop their heads up and say hello. It's good to see you, Seventh Son. I'm glad you're here. What? You can make a comment or disappear. Well, yeah, because Mon is a mod, so she can do that. Yeah, just in time. Jazzy Girl Sarah says, I love to sketch. Sometimes it calms me. I also love to color in coloring books. Oh, I love those adult coloring books. Man, I have so many of those that I wish I had more time to do them. They are very relaxing. They're very soothing. I know. Maybe I'll bring some to work. And that way, people that, don't like to just talk, they like to do something with their hands when they're talking, they can color in them. Because even adults need fidget toys. The owner of the practice is so cool. She like bought these huge baskets of fidget toys for every location to just put in the waiting room for people. That's great, Warren. Warren says, not too long ago at a karaoke bar, some college-age people sang Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I immediately responded by singing the Weird Al Smells Like Nirvana. That's great. That's great. I think maybe that was the channel I saw it on, Warren, was How to ADHD. I think that's what it was on. Right, Mist? Coloring can be kind of meditative. It can. I also like building a Lego set was kind of meditative for me the other day. That sounds funny. I hadn't tried to build a Lego set in a long time. Yes, indeed, Weird Al for the win. Gangster's Paradise, Amish Paradise, Fat instead of Bad. He came up with a lot of good stuff. My current fidget toy is this little weird suction cup guy. Probably the sound is annoying, but it's oddly satisfying to mess with. This was wait, I bought my son a whole bunch of fidget toys, and this was the one he didn't like. I typically will keep the ones that he doesn't like at my desk. Oh, the How to ADHD person, Warren? She came to speak at my school one night and visited my class the next morning. The How to ADHD person? Oh, that's cool. This is a side effect of AI I think is good. So AI kind of freaks me out in some ways, but this is a cool thing. Misha says, I never thought I was an artist. I mean, stick figures. The new tech of AI art is opening so much for me. People are creative, but didn't know it, have found amazing new hope. I think that's awesome. I think that's cool. Yes, this was a good Weird Al song too, White and Nerdy. Trying to catch me white and nerdy instead of riding dirty. Yep, that was fun. Ooh, I will look into the Lego flower sets. So somebody got my son a Lego set that was like just a little bit too old for him, like too advanced, but he wanted it like it frustrated him, like but he wanted to see it anyway, so I put it together. So that's how that happened. And then I remembered, oh, Legos are fun. Yes, another one rides the bus instead of another one bites the dust. The Star Wars one that was the parody of The Day the Music Died. What did they call it? Somebody will know. I don't remember off the top of my head. This here Anakin guy, maybe Vader someday later. Now he's just a small fry. Janelle says, I just started with fidgets a year ago. They do help me tolerate high stress environments like waiting rooms. Yeah, waiting rooms suck. Waiting rooms are awful. I don't blame you. The coolest, so apparently, I don't know if where you guys are, you have these stores called Five Below. Supposedly everything is $5 or less, but they have a lot of good fidget toys. That's where we get a lot of ours. Oh, the fidget spinners. Miss Dragon says, I'm not a fan of the fidget spinners because I can see that they can become hypnotic. So fidget spinners were super popular for a while when my husband was teaching middle school. Like they were kind of new. And so like every kid had like 6 fidget spinners and so they drove him crazy. So he has like a bad association with fidget spinners. I love this. Misha, thank you. We are going to get through this life together. It is so much more fun. I love that. Oh, you designed your logo with AI Crafty Witch? That's cool. Is that what it was called, Warren? The saga begins. I know all the words to not all the words, but I know most of the words to the parody, but not I didn't know the title of it. Oh, these are so cool. These little dudes. A dragon with yarn is your logo. He's so cute. I love him. Can I share him? He's so cute. This is Crafty Witch's logo. He's a dragon with yarn. He's a crafty dragon. That's so cool. You used AI to make him? That's awesome. Oh, wow, Misha, really? I have researched AI for over 20 years. I was scared of it. Anything I am scared of, I research, take the power back, sort of thing. I understand it now. Help to educate it, left my mark of love. Oh, that's awesome, Misha. I love that. And I love that sentiment. Anything I'm scared of, I research. Take the power back. I love that. That's awesome. That's kind of what all education should be in some ways, you know? That's awesome. It's almost Chow Yun Smut time, you guys. I can't believe that I hung out for 2 hours. I thought I was gonna fall asleep at an hour, you guys. I'm gonna do my what hold on, I stepped the chat for a moment. I can't see the chat. Oh, I have more cool pictures from Janet G. Okay, okay. These are adorable. Some hatchlings, 2 wild turkey, 1 peacock. That's right. You had the exotic bird eggs. Oh, they're so cute. These are 2 wild turkeys and a peacock? They look like ducks, but they're so cute. Look at the little birdies. Mm, they're so precious. You can't see the yellow one very well, but he's awesome. I love that. Oh, this is great, Warren. This is a great quote. The problem is always easier once you quit avoiding it. I've heard somewhere. Natural human impulse is to avoid looking at the stuff you're scared of. For sure. For sure. The difficult part is getting over the hump of avoiding it, right? You got to start small. You got to start small. I think that's the key. Starting with things you're just a little bit afraid of, and then like gradually stepping it up and stepping it up, you know? That's awesome, Jason P. That is the coolest compliment I've gotten in a long time. Thank you. Yes, time flies here just like the lifeboat. Good times, Cam. Thank you. That is awesome. That is an awesome compliment. Thank you. Ooh. Warm hugs and love to everyone. Love to all of you. Right? Yes, agree. Game birds. That's right. That's right. I remember asking you, Janet G. He doesn't eat them. Yeah, turkeys can get mean, I've heard. Those turkeys are gonna grow up to mess you up. Okay, before I wrap this up, I'll tell you guys about the wild turkey we met in Massachusetts, in my husband's hometown where he grew up, which is a little town outside of Boston, probably about an hour away. I had never seen wild turkeys before, but there were we went in the fall once and there were wild turkeys running all over the place. And it just like totally like threw me because I had never seen they were huge too. They were big. And but mostly they were like out in the countryside, except for this one, we were like driving through town and there was this huge turkey just like hanging out outside this apartment complex where they were having like a rummage sale out front. So people had all their stuff for sale on these tables. And this huge wild turkey was just like walking along, like, "Woo, woo." Like we slowed the car down to look at this huge wild turkey just hanging out near this rummage sale. Because we were on our way to his family's house for a gathering. And we got there and I told him about this huge turkey I saw at this rummage sale on the way there. And his cousin goes, "Oh, you mean Colin?" Like, everybody in town knew this turkey that hung out hung out by the rummage sale and was, like, practically tame. They'd named him Colin. I thought that was pretty fun. Thank you for posting. Yeah, you guys, if you are not done hanging out in the chat and chilling and having the connections and chatting and with the time flying stuff, please go over to Cricket's channel called Chow Yun Smut. She does the awesome lives and has a fun vibe. And that's usually where I go. And I don't always stay awake the whole time because I can't always stay awake, but I always pop up and say hello. Um, so thank you so much, you guys. I really, really had a fun time tonight. Uh, I wish I could still be doing this every single night. Oh, you want to meet Colin now, Wally? It was a long time ago. I hope he's still around. Colin the friendly wild turkey. I think I got a picture of him. If I can rustle up a picture, I'll share it with you guys next time. I don't know how they decided his name was Colin Moore. I just accepted it. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Y'all are awesome. I love it here. I love hanging out with you. I feel so lucky that y'all show up for this. Y'all have a wonderful night. I'll see you over on Cricket's channel or one of the other places we all seem to frequent. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Take care, y'all. Bye bye.